Okay, recap for Monday, the 20th April 2026. Um, it's Monday, so no trade for me, right? I don't trade Mondays. I could not care less what Monday does. I just use it for insight, thinking what the week is gonna do, etc. Right? So on Friday we hit all-time high, and I'm gonna just explain a couple of stuff so I can get rid of a lot of stuff here. This is our opening range gap, new weekly opening gap for the week, right? We opened lower as expected, right? Because we didn't have TGIF on Friday, so Monday we expected to do it. And just for clarification, let's just see if we got to the 20% of the range. So this is our weekly range, and let's try get 20%. I'll be not 5, let's just put 8 right there. And let's see if we got that. Nope, we did not actually. We got close to it, but I would have expected that we hit this, right? We're slightly off, but hey, that's what you'd expect anyway. So it opened low, whatever, right? And we come back filling our opening range gap. If we were gonna stay in the lower quadrant or below midpoint, that means I would expect today to complete basically the TGIF, but we went higher, so you'd expect it to either fully close it, get close to closing it, and then dump or bump just depending on the structure, right? So now we can get rid of our new weekly opening gap. What's this, right? This is essentially the fair value gap before taking all-time high. On the 1 minute, there's nothing clean because we start doing all of this, but if we go to something like the 5 minute, we have this clean fair value gap that we were holding and then we took all-time high. So that's essentially the same bar as playing the fair value gap that before taking liquidity, right? So I'm just doing it within the 5 minute. You drag that through price and price normally tends to use it, right? This also lines up with our opening range gap, right? If we look at our regular trading hours, this is our opening range gap, and you can see the midpoint of that lines up with midpoint of that whatever gap that before taking liquidity. So this was just an area to watch, right? So when we come to 9:30 today, we want to see how do we react here. Well, first 9:30 wicks into the midpoint and goes sharply lower, right? So in terms of today anyway, right? If we're just looking at liquidity, what do we have? We have sell side from EM yesterday, right there. And what I have drawn it like that because if you go into the regular trading hours, this is exactly how it looks. So we do have relative equal lows with London low, and that's about it that I would look for sell side. As you can see, we wick straight into it and then come and fully take it later. So in terms of, and also our initial sell side right there, I don't have highlighted. So let's just put that as initial sell side with this. I'll put this back. Alright, so we have three sell side, and in terms of London, Asia, whatever buy side, we've taken everything except our initial buy side right here. Nope, we're already taking it because that's 9:30. So this technical is count. So we have no buy side left, right? We have PM and lunch, but that would equate to us making a new all-time high today, which I don't expect if we hold this, right? So let's say we had an opening where this doesn't wake up and we close above this, then that will just delete everything about bearish and we expecting price to push up. I don't expect that, so I'm not even looking at it. And like I said, I didn't even trade today, so I just had the stuff marked and it played out how it should play out. It's just even though if I would come into the market today looking for an entry, I would have probably got stopped out in the middle of this trying to catch the short. So that's why I say don't, even if you know what Monday's gonna do, I don't like trading it. I can't be honest. There's just no point, right? It's just a waste of my time to try to get stopped out or whatever. So anyway, like I said, this tells us okay. This tells us two things, right there. Us not closing even above the midpoint of our open range gap. It tells us two things. We are likely to deliver to the low, this low, or these lows, but we're also likely to not expand lower, right? We're not going to keep dumping the whole day. Also likely to come and get this back eventually, either today or later. So we can see we got close to it, but I would expect today to come take both these highs out, right? So let me just double check. So if we did something like this today, then I would expect this to come for the highs. That's what I meant. So that validates the short. Okay, cool. So what do we look for? Well, 931 here creates our first presented fair value gap, right? I'm only interested in this first presented fair value gap after 940, right? Because this, it typically from 930 to 940, you would get manipulation of some sort, right? And that means if you try to take the short, there's specific days where you take it straight away or you take the 930 gap itself. But for this day, well, first is Monday, so most likely not gonna work. Second, you have to wait for the manipulation all around, right? So my typical short would be us coming back after the 940. So if any of these candles, I would take the short here and my stop loss would be at the high. So if I traded today, would I get stopped out? No. But would I like seeing any of this? Would this make me nervous or close my position early or something? Maybe. But you know what I'm saying? It's not anything great, right? Because look at it. We go into it, and then we go all the way over, and we just start like smacking over, and then eventually we hit our first liquidity, and then quickly after that, well, in the same minute actually, we hit all the targets. So yes, it would be a nice um um, I would probably take it here, can't lie, something like this. So it'd be a nice 150 points, but would I care for it? No, not really. Why? Because all the things that I just said there, right? It's Monday. There is no real respect that first presented. It's doing stuff that I don't know if I would have closed early or whatever, right? It's just bunch of BS, right? And that's why I don't care for Monday. Any other day, I take this short, right? I would probably wait to validate this. I can't lie, I wouldn't take this on a limit because we go over it, we go below it, and then we come back, and then I would see if we're gonna go over it again. And honestly, my trade would probably be here when it's below the midpoint, or any of these coming back to the first presented again. That's probably what I would wait for, in like all honesty. So I probably would even get into like this bad trade. So yeah. But following my rules, I'm just allowing the Monday to go. So we hit all the liquidity, easy day, whatever, right? It does take a while though. That's just expected. Anyway, what do I expect for tomorrow or Tuesday's price action? Well, we've taken all-time high, and right now we've probably hit the 50% mark again, right? Where we don't know what we're gonna do because theoretically a lot of people probably went short over this. So if we even gonna like come back down, right? Because it's a 50-50. We could just start pumping and just like, all right, bye. Or we could be making another high, right? Coming lower, making a lower high, and then dumping slightly lower to something, right? I don't know what that something is, right? We have bunch of unfilled gaps on the daily, on the whatever, right? So are we gonna rebalance or are we gonna leave this as a whole range that we're not even gonna touch and treat this as a balanced price range? I don't know. So that's why I'm gonna have to sit on my hands for tomorrow. I need to check Forex Factory actually. I don't know why is this messed up. Should just show USD. So we do have news tomorrow. Right? We have news tomorrow. So I would expect, I don't know if Asia is gonna do it, but I would expect us to get and make a new all-time high, right? And if the structure is bearish, then I would expect 930 to dump us lower, right? However, I wouldn't expect this to take this low. I would expect it to dump lower, then we bump higher. Wednesday makes a lower high, and then we start dumping again and would clear both these lows on Wednesday. So my expectation is basically like this. Let's just draw that out. Would that work? Nope. Absolutely not. What's this? I'm just completely messing this up. Where's the tool? I will just do it on lines. So this is whatever high, right? This is for today, right? And then I would expect Tuesday's price. Click text. I expect Tuesday's price to go higher, right? Think about this. This is the low for here. I expect Tuesday's price to go higher, make a new all-time high. Market open, we dump somewhere, right? And then we don't really do much. And on Wednesday, we come back close to that high. And once market opens at 9:30, we dump down to these lows, right? And then Thursday would continue the dump, preferably getting us to somewhere here at least, or maybe even here. And then Friday would get back to the range. That's scenario one. Scenario two, we pump and we hold this, and that will, I'll have to wait for market structure tomorrow to tell us what we're gonna do. And if we're gonna do that, then that means this rest of the week is bullish, and we're only just looking for bullish price action. So yeah, it's like I said, it's a 50-50, but that's the market recap.